And just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward, always getting closer, I'm marching till it's over. And just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward.
Hello and welcome back to MangaMuse guys. This is the third part of What If Deku Enters Hazbin Hotel. Make sure to like, share, subscribe and also press the bell icon so that you never miss a great update. Also make sure to check out the wonderful author DiabloDrago on Wattpad. Well, let's continue with the story now.
Following the misadventure that was, Izuku was simply singing along with the songs on the radio. Courtesy of Octavia, who was quite excited to share her taste of music with him. Stolas was seated in the back, quite squished because of his size, smiled fondly as he watched his daughter interact with him. This is the second track by FY Dad back when they were first starting out. But after this it becomes less edgy since they were milking the daddy issues let dry by then. Octavia explained excitedly, typing away at her phone. It's not as good in my opinion, but it's definitely better than their rival group FY Mum. That's a band name? Izuku raised an eyebrow. It will never cease to amaze me how many people have parental issues. Well, most of their songs are about how they want to bang their quote-unquote hot moms. Oedipus complex. Disturbing as hell. They each shuddered in disgust at the thought. So what was it that got you into this type of music? Octavia looked away, trying not to meet the gaze of her curious father. Just home life being shitty. Well, okay then. Izuku awkwardly smiled and shot Stolas a quick look. It seems we have arrived at your destination. You sound like a GPS. Via giggled lightly. No, I don't. He said in a stereotypical robot voice. Getting laughs from his passengers. Before you leave, how about we exchange contacts? I'd like to have a chance to hang out with you. Without all the fire and chaos, unless that's your thing. You want to hang out with me? She stuttered out with a faint blush just barely being hidden by her feathers. Yes. She shouts before blushing harder. I mean, yeah, cool, whatever. Wow. She's cute when she's embarrassed. Izuku thought with a smile as he brought out his phone. Meanwhile, Stolas was watching them with a big smile. Looking over the two knowingly while a faint look of worry flashed over him. Well, I'll text you sometime when I'm free. She smiled with a blush as Izuku chuckled lightly. Feel free to come over to the Flare District whenever you want to hang out. I know many great cafes that I think you'd love. I look forward to it. Soon the father and daughter duo had exited the vehicle, while Stolas got stuck and needed to be pulled out. Izuku waved out the window as he began driving away, leaving the still blushing young woman with her very pleased and happy dad, who gave a look at his daughter. What? She questioned, getting a laugh from her father. I'm just so happy my little girl has her first crush. He let out an excited squeal that left her going nuclear. Dad. Back with Izuku, he chuckled to himself as he continued to drive through the streets of Pride, letting out a light sigh as he made his way back to the hotel. Thinking over certain business that he had hoped he could discuss with Stolas privately, but then things went to SHT. His thoughts were cut short, however, as his phone had begun to ring. Hello? He said as he put the call on speaker. Hello, sir, he heard a male voice quivering from the other end. One he recognized fairly well by now. Pringles? What's going on this time? He let out a heavy sigh, knowing full well what this was gonna lead to. Well, Mstrs Stella is in another mood and I hate to ask this, but, Crash, please help. Alright, just put her on the phone. Izuku rubbed his temples, slightly annoyed. He may care deeply for that woman, but that doesn't mean he enjoys her tantrums. Well, he doesn't complain about what comes after them, but that's for later. Meanwhile, Pringles felt like he was in one of those action movies or some SHT right now. Or maybe a horror flick. Whatever. What's important was that he was trying very carefully to make it over to the princess, Stella, the wife of Stolas, mother of Octavia and lover of the main character. Which some readers may be opposed to, but for F's sake just don't read the DMN book if you have a problem with my story choices. Where was I? Anyway, Pringles keeps his movements silent and quick so as to not incur the wrath of the royal. Though it wasn't easy having to carry that phone with the extremely long extension cord that seemed to extend through the entire estate. He was lucky that the woman had calmed down after the past hours of rage, but he literally couldn't complain. "Ma'am." He spoke respectfully as he held the phone for her. "What?" She yelled at him with a book in hand ready to knock him out. Luckily he was basically numb to it at this point. "Mr. Midoriya is on the phone for you." Those words shook her to her core as her white feathers became a hot pink. She immediately grabbed hold of the phone. "Leave. Better yet, take the day off. Along with the rest of the staff," she ordered the servant. He bowed before walking out with a sigh. "Hello, darling," she said into the phone. Her anger now replaced with a warm and flirtatious tone. "Hello, Stella. I heard about the incident this morning." She shivered as she heard the disappointment in his tone. And not in a fun way. "I'm sorry," she spoke quietly, nervously fiddling with the phone cord as she tried piecing a plan together. It's just that. I know you two don't get along, but fighting is only gonna make everything worse. You know that." He scolded her, a feeling she wasn't pleased with, but she knew she deserved it. "But I'm willing to hear your side of it. We can meet up tomorrow and talk it over." "Just us two?" Really?" "Yes." She shook with excitement. "Where shall we meet? At the club? Maybe at my beach house in Envy? Maybe a hotel?" "We can meet in Envy. Shouldn't be much of a hassle." "Of course. I'll make the preparations. Would you prefer coffee or tea?" "Both?" "Both are good. I'll bring you favorites. Just don't overboard. I'd rather you don't spend so much money on these meetings." "Yes, but it's all worth it." She smiles widely with her blush showing through her feathers. "By the way, you did go to Lululand, correct? Did you get a good chance to meet Via? What's your opinion of her?" "Via acts cold, but I can tell she's a real sweetheart, but you and Stola's being at each other's throats isn't helping her at all." She shrunk in her seat as he spoke. "But that can all be fixed in time so long as everyone puts in the effort. We exchanged contacts, so we'll be in touch if she needs me." "Glorious. I knew you two would hit it off. You realize it's a bit weird how excited you are, right?" "Yes, well, it's all for the best, darling." She laughed happily. "Anyway, I must get everything prepared for tomorrow. I will see you later. Behave and please clean up after yourself. After all, you did send the entire staff away for the day." "Yes, sir." "Kisses, darling." Stella blew a kiss into the phone before hanging up. Now actually looking over the mess she had made during her episode. "Now where is the broom closet?" she questioned with a sigh. Sometimes she hated living in such a large palace. "Back with our MC." Izuku sighed as he hung up from the call. Sighing softly to himself as he now had something else on his plate to fret over. And just when he thought he'd have a nice day off tomorrow to plan out future dates and outings with his loved ones. "Well, there goes my Friday," he whispered as his mind went on another train of thought. "Charlie isn't going to like this." He sighed heavily, knowing full well there was only one thing he could do to make it up to his fiancée. Later. "I don't like it." Charlie is seen sitting on the couch pouting cutely after being told of his new plans. Izuku was nervously sitting next to her trying to comfort her while Vaggie was simply watching off to the side. Grateful that Barbie and Mayberry were handling the kids right now. "I know you don't, apple pie." Izuku carefully wrapped his arms around her for a hug. One that she didn't bother trying to return, rather opting to continue pouting. "I know you don't like her all that much, but Stella is legitimately trying to be better." "I know. And let's not forget that it was ultimately you who agreed to this whole thing." Vaggie chimed into the conversation. "It was honestly pretty weird considering you don't like her." "I know." The blonde continued to sulk as she leaned on her boyfriend. "But I was hoping we could do something special together." She pouted further, getting a sigh from her lovers. How about I do absolutely anything you want tonight and make you your favorite dessert tomorrow morning? He offered with a smile. Will that make you happy? I don't know. Charlie spoke with a playful smirk as she turned to face him. I mean, I'm sure you remember what happened last time you made that offer. Don't you? Yeah. You and Vaggy were sore and couldn't walk for days even after I healed you. He smirked as he pulled her into his lap with a stuck look in his eyes. But if that is what my princess desires, who am I to deny her? So long as I get to do the thing with Vaggy, I'm all for it. Charlie aims a flirtatious look over towards their now blushing moth-themed lover. I mean, why not? She stuttered out nervously as the memories of that time bubbled to the surface. As long as I'm the one who does that part. Threaten me with a good time, Izuku says, his tone low and husky that sends shivers down her spine. Oh, I am definitely gonna have a great night, Charlie said with a small bit of drool leaking from her mouth. Please tell me you'll be using it on me, she practically begged. How could I possibly say no to my filthy little princessa? Vaggy crawled behind her, playfully biting at her ear. After all, someone needs to remind her who's the boss. Her hand snaked down her form, causing the blonde to bite her lip to hold back her mmm. Oh? And you seem to think it's you? Izuku reached over and slapped the gray-haired woman's peach. TSK looks like someone else needs a lesson too, he punctuated his sentence with a hard squeeze of her peach. Poppy Moss Duro, she mmm as she bit down on Charlie's neck. Let's take this upstairs. Don't wanna accidentally traumatize someone, he said before thinking about it further. Or ours them. The trio soon left the room and fled to the safety of their shared bedroom to continue their promiscuous activities. None of them the wiser to a certain individual who had accidentally walked in on them during their FRPLY. Hiding around the corner of the room stood none other than Mara Mayberry. The woman held her breath as she covered her mouth to hide her voice. Her knees were trembling at the sight she had just witnessed. Struggling to keep herself steady as she felt a burning sensation in her loins. Her free hand unconsciously journeyed beneath her skirt and towards her delicate area. Her flower moist to the touch even through her unders. Holy SHTF. She mmm in her mind as her body failed to contain its arousal. So hot, her thoughts grew somber as she was reminded of her life before death. Memories of what her ex-husband thought was a sec life. How the pitiful man she believed loved couldn't satisfy her. Barely able to make her feel a thing when they did it. The fool couldn't even flirt with her a bit before trying to get her in bed. Jealousy reigned in her mind as she replayed the moments between her employers in her mind over and over again. I want that too, she thought as she began eating on her fingers while her other hand plunged into her lower lips. Before immediately freezing as she came to the realization of what she was doing. UFMN. She berated herself before trying to fix herself up. Gotta get back to work before they wonder where I am. She dashed down the hall completely forgetting what she was doing there in the first place. What the F? Huss questioned as he walked into the room just as she left. Drinking was likely his 6th or 7th bottle of booze that afternoon. Whatever. He walked away to continue doing whatever it is that he does. The following day. The beaches of Envy were well regarded as some of the most appealing sights in all of hell. The only downsides that visitors complained about were the locals, but that's a story for another time. Right now, Stella is awaiting her lover in the lone villa on this particular beach. A wedding gift from a friend as a condolence for the arranged marriage between her and Stolas. Stella paced her way through the front of the house near the entrance. Constantly adjusting herself every time she caught a glimpse of her reflection. Straightening out her dress down to the most minute detail. One that was different from her usual gown that she only wore for special occasions. Despite the fact she isn't going anywhere else today. She just wanted to dress up nicely for him. The sound of the door creaking open caught her attention, causing her to freeze in place. She stood there with a small blush as the man of the hour walked in with a smile on his face. One that always had a way of making her feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Wearing one of his usual suits that he often dons for their many meetings. Hello, Stella. I hope you weren't waiting long. Izuku greeted as he wrapped his arms around her in a hug. Not long, darling. But I'd wait for you forever if it meant seeing your handsome face. Stella returned the gesture before bringing her face down to meet his. The two met for a kiss that lasted for a few seconds. You look radiant as always, my little star. He cupped her cheek gently as she smiled at his touch. Now I do believe we have much to discuss. Of course, darling. She smiles nervously as she intertwines her arm with his, holding his hand as she leads into the living room. I decided to make Earl Grey tea and I even ordered some scones from our favorite bakery. That sounds lovely, my dear. He smiles warmly at her, chuckling softly as he notices her tail feathers flickering about. Someone is definitely in a much better mood today. I was really excited. You know how much I adore your company, she said in slight embarrassment. Though I do love when you decide to bring the little ones with you. Such darling girls. They definitely take after their father. And they do love you as well. Perhaps next time we can bring them here for a family vacation. He ponders as they take a seat on the couch. They'd definitely love it if you came to visit as well. Maybe you and Charlie could even have a proper chat about the state of things. Stella went silent for a few moments after he mentioned his fiancée. While she wouldn't say she and her were on bad terms, they weren't on the best of terms either. However grateful she may be, she can't help but wonder why Charlie had permitted her relationship with Izuku. Yes, I will see to it that I find the time, she muttered nervously, reaching over to the teapot and pouring them a cup of tea. Sugar? Always. Izuku gave her a comforting smile as she handed him his cup. Now I do believe it's best to stop beating around the bush. I want to hear your side of the story about yesterday. Why, yes. In hindsight, I will admit that my behavior was childish. It's just that Stolas and his imp, she paused, looking sourly at her tea, trying to control herself. They ruined it. Ruined what? They ruined the surprise. I spent weeks setting up a special room for our anniversary. She yelled out, angry. I didn't ask the staff to help. I special ordered everything from Lust crafted specifically for us. I wanted to make it special. To make up for the time we weren't together. Our anniversary? But that isn't for a few months? The anniversary of when we first met years ago. The night that you did me and everyone a favor by giving me a much-needed attitude adjustment. She cried out as a blush made itself evident on her face. The night you spent hours doing things to my body that I could never dream of. Things that for months my body craved more. Oh, his face fell slightly remembering that day. That day. I know how you feel when I mention it, but you put me in my place that day. Stella took his hands into hers with a smile. It was a day you showed me so much lust my body cannot be satisfied by anyone else. And now you shower me with love and affection. You correct me when I am wrong and reprimand me when it is deserved. Am I your boyfriend or your parent? He genuinely asked, though he was blatantly ignored. It was a day you awakened something inside me that I didn't know I needed. She brought his hands to her face and held them there. Thanks to you I saw the world differently, and you've only helped me since then. And I will use my whole being to repay you. My body is yours to toy with, my soul belongs to you, and my heart is yours to hold. You really have a lot to say about me blowing your back out while drunk. He spoke quietly as he held her cheek. You went as far as to make a sect dungeon as a thank you. It's actually kind of scary and hot. He smiled as he brought her in close and kissed her deeply. The two continued for a few moments before separating to breathe. The two smiled at one another, looking into each other's eyes happily. Reaching for another, Stella quickly moved into his lap. I don't want to imagine what I would have done, what I'd become if I hadn't met you. Stella smiled lovingly as she held him in her arms. It has been my pleasure to guide you to become a better person, he said as his hands traveled along her curves. And to train this alluring body of yours. I hope that you'll continue to have me. In all the ways you want me, she grinded her peach against his lap. teasing him in hope he'll act on his lust. I plan on it, he kissed her again. But perhaps we should save this for the bedroom. We still have much to talk about. Yes, sir. She sighed in disappointment as she began to move herself off his lap. Only for him to hold her there with a smile. I think a good cuddle will do you some good. He smirked as she laid into him. Now back on topic, did Stolas know about the room you had prepared? Yes. Talked with him about it and he recommended equipment we could use. He was actually very helpful about. He even helped me pick out some nice lingerie. And did he wreck it on purpose? Was he even in control of the situation? He continued to question, gently stroking her feathers to calm her down. No, she spoke sadly as she avoided his gaze. I only found him because the door was left wide open. He was completely tied down to the point he could barely move. So he tried to explain himself, right? He explained how his imp came over for their deal. He caught him by surprise, blindfolded him and dragged him into a random room. She spoke softly, shrinking in her seat as she did so. The room being the one I was working on that they only got into because I forgot to lock it like AFMN. She yelled out, slapping herself in exasperation. Then I just started screaming at him like AB because I couldn't remember to do one simple thing. Hey! That enough yelling? He said sternly, holding her firmly in his grasp. It was an honest mistake on both parts. Stolas isn't completely at fault since he had no control where he was dragged, but he still could have been more assertive about how he and Blitz did things. And you are not at fault for an accident or for losing your temper. You worked HRD on something and to see it in shambles will send you over the edge. Could the situation have been handled better? Yes, and you acknowledge that. So what does that mean? I still have to work on my temper and learn to be more aware of the situations I'm in. She answers softly, getting a kiss on the cheek in response. No one is the bad guy here, Stella. Nor is anyone the good guy. Izuku says as he holds her closer. It's all a mess but it's fixable. I don't expect you to go to Stola's and apologize right away but eventually. Fine. She grumbles as she scooched closer to him. Okay. He smiled while stroking her feathers. Now what would you like to do now? I just want to sit here and cuddle for a bit longer. Maybe something else later. She coos as she lays herself into him. Izuku follows suit as he lays down completely on the couch with her on top of him. That's perfectly alright. Today is all about me and you. He continued to pet her with a smile. Though we should probably change into something more comfortable. Yes, that would be nice. Stella sighed as she got up from her spot, holding onto Izuku's hand to follow her. She led him into the bedroom where they separated. Stella heads into the bathroom to change, leaving Izuku to simply begin stripping down to his boxers in light of not having anything to change into. Stella soon joined him again with a blush on her face as she walked into the room wearing nothing but a bathrobe. Still as fine as the first time I saw your body laid naked, Izuku said as he took her hand and brought her over to him. And you're even better than the first time we met. With a body that sends my womanhood trembling, she gave a flirty look to him as she moved in closer, taking his lips for a kiss. The two soon drifted towards the bed, still in one another's embrace as the lights turned off. Soon the sounds of could be heard coming from the room followed by the loud thumping of furniture. You all know where this went. In the dimly lit room that Izuku and Stella had retired to the previous night, he laid in the bed by his lonesome. The Goetia princess was nowhere to be seen, yet a small glow of light from an adjacent door and the subtle sounds of running water made it clear where she was. Though that does not mean he was completely alone in the bedroom. Made clear by the movements being made beneath the blankets that were loosely placed over him. The blanket raised slightly as a set of yellow eyes glowed for a moment with glee. The heart-shaped tip of a tail snaked its way along his sleeping form. A soft giggle escaped their lips as they sat up and planted themselves on Izuku's pelvic region. Feeling the additional weight, Izuku stirred awake, his eyes fluttering open, being met with the sight of a certain succubus. "Good morning, Daddy," she whispered in his ear as she planted a kiss on his lips. grinding her peach against his growing morning wood. Excited to see me? I always am, Verosika. He smiles as grabbed onto the back of her head and pulled in for another kiss. What are you doing here? I thought you were still on tour? Well, my last concert was here in Envy and I just so happened to get a call from Barbie last night, so we decided. Verosika begins to explain but is cut off by a loud coming from the bathroom. Oh yes. Take it be. Barbie's voice was heard, followed by the sounds of wet slapping and You can see where things ended up. She smirked as she wrapped her arms around Izuku's neck as he sat up to face her. My tour is done and all I have left is some spring break freelance before I can stay home with handsome hubby wubby, she cooed as she kissed him again. The kids certainly have missed you. I'm sure they can't wait to see their pop star mama. His hands traveled down her back and onto her thick childbearing peach. And I certainly love being able to wake up to this, he said, soaking in her NDE form. Ah, careful daddy, she softly with a shake in her peach. Or else I may get another bun in the oven, but I bet you'd love that. You know me so well. He smirked as he kissed her again. This time pushing her down so she was lying on her back, staring up at him with lust-filled eyes. You naughty boy, you want to get me all hot and preggers, don't you? You wanna screw this hot MLF peach till it's sore all day and night like I'm your personal F toy, she smirked as she wiggled her peach seductively. But you know you can't because we got work to do today. Yes I do, he said, feeling slightly disappointed. But we can be a bit late, he smirked, lifting her legs over her head. Then get to it, Mr. Put this bee in her favorite position. With pleasure, he growled, peering over to the slightly ajar bathroom door where he saw his two other girls peering in. Wouldn't want to disappoint our audience, would we? One love-making scene later. The company van of IMP is seen racing down the streets, its dented hood flopping every time it hits a bump. The crew were inside listening to the radio, having grown numb to how terrible the vehicle had gotten from the constant abuse. Courtesy of a certain imp who was driving and singing along terribly with songs on the radio. I love this song, Blitz yelled from the driver's side as he continued assaulting his crew's ears. You were a spicy little, demon with the, bleach blonde hair. Luna is shown sitting in the passenger seat next to him, looking mildly annoyed at his singing. Moxie, who was seated in the back beside his wife, covers his non-existing ears in an attempt at shielding them from his employer's voice. Millie, somehow completely unbothered by Blitz, rolled down the window and looked out of it. Simply taking in the day. Fiendin for that SMN when I caught your stare, Blitz continued on as he recklessly drove full speed into a crowded parking lot. Thought it might be love, but you went, oh, SHT. Foo dash. A pink car pulls into the remaining parking space, causing Blitz to panic, slamming onto the brakes, and the van skids to a stop. Blitzo turns off the radio and glares at the pink car. He glances at the license plate, which reads, SCK, for life. Oh, you, SCK for life, do ya? He growls angrily as he pulls out a megaphone and yells into it. Listen up, you unoriginal pink juice dump. You have 3 goddamn seconds to get your tips out of my parking spot. The passenger steps out of her front car seat with high heels. The sight of who causes Blitz to lower the megaphone, shocked. Oh, SHT. Verosika. Blitzo. Verosika says dryly as she blows a bubble of pink gum before it pops. I should have known you'd be here. I could smell fish for miles, which is odd. Because, I believe the nearest ocean is. Blitzo falls and face plants onto the ground before standing up, 3 rings down. And I should have known you'd be here when I heard the Amber Alerts. Oh, yeah? I'm surprised they let your fat peach out of rehab. He glares at the succubus who cockily walks over to him. I wouldn't be surprised you're still a drunken were, clutching onto that Beelzebub bottle like it's the last PP in hell. Joke's on you B. I got clean. Verosika smirks as she dramatically flicks her long hair. Besides, rehab is for sad, loser wash-ups. So, your sister says, hi, dot. Elsewhere. Barbie scowls, feeling a wave of annoyance wash over her. causing her to stop what she was doing at the moment. Feeling as if AB just said something insulting aimed right at her. Her lack of focus soon caught the attention of her current partner. "MSTRS? Why'd you stop?" Stella questioned, no longer feeling Barbie holding onto the rope that was tied around her body. "I feel like AB needs a hard spanking right now. And for once it isn't you," she mutters before she smacks Stella's bare bottom with a paddle. "Ah, harder. Back to the IMP. Why are you parking here? This is the only parking spot my company has. So take your tampon race car somewhere else." Blitzo angrily yells as he steps in front of VERYYYY. "Actually, prick. It has my name on it." She smugly points down to her name written in purple spray paint by their feet where the IMP logo is crossed out on the ground. "I'm doing a bit of freelance for one of the infinitely more successful companies in the building." "No way," Luna mutters to herself as she watches the two interact with one another from the safety of the van. "And they wanted to have me come in this week to lead their team during spring break." She finished, making the imp even angrier. "A week? No, you are not parking here for AF in a week." "Aw, you mad, Blitzo?" VERYYYY asks rhetorically as she takes off her sunglasses. "You gonna run off, leaving someone else to pay for the hotel room, steal their car and run? Run 3 rings 2 and max MY credit cards on shitty horse riding lessons?" Blitz and VERYYYY say simultaneously. "God damn it, where, you will not let that go. Choke on a sandpaper pages." VERYYYY flips him the bird and walks away while Luna fearfully lowers her head in the van. "Hold on. You better move that PP wagon right now, or I'm gonna," Blitz threatens but stops as a towering muscular hellhound appears behind him and growls. "You'll what?" he growled threateningly, making Bit stutter in fear. "Or I dash." He stutters before he finally gets an idea. "I'll call over my best employee," he says smugly, thinking he actually has a chance. But instead it only made her curious. "Oh really?" She smiles with a slight giggle. "Then go for it. Call up whoever you want and I'll pay them triple what they get from you." "We'll see about that where?" Blitz grumbled as he pulled out his phone and raced to his contacts. After a second of awkward silence, they all heard a ringtone start sounding from the back of VERYYYY's car. A second later they heard a groan as someone got up from the back seat. "Ugh, I'm up." "Who's calling me?" Izuku grumbled as he answered his phone. "Blitz, why are you calling me before work?" he questioned, not even noticing where he was. "Kid, what the F?" Blitz yelled, while he was still on the phone, staring right at him. Getting his attention. "Oh, hey Blitz." He chuckled as he waved over at the imp. "I see I made it on time after all." He hung up before exiting the car, all the while VERYYYY was busy trying not to laugh her ass off. "Ha ha ha ha. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh." She laughed while wiping tears from her eyes. "Your best employee is my boyfriend." "Ha ha ha ha. What's going on? Did I miss something?" Izuku asked, sounding a bit confused. "You remember that ex I kept complaining about for a while?" she asked, getting a nod from him. "Well, there he is." She pointed to Blitz, who was now in a state of complete shock. "What the hell?" Blitz was now frothing at the mouth from what was going on. "Well, I gotta go make sure the SLTS haven't wrecked the office yet." VERYYYY gave Izuku a passionate kiss, as he gave her peach a good firm squeeze in return. "You have a good day, baby." "You too, babe." He smiled, placing another kiss on her lips before she left. "Tata, F stain." VERYYYY flipped Blitz off as she and Vortex left them behind. "Ugh. You know you're wasting so much time with a bag of opens like that," Blitz commented before getting punched upside the head. "Ow. Why'd you hit me?" "Because I felt like it. You know VERYYYY Mayday?" Luna yelled as she kicked the van door open. "Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah. We dated." Blitz said as he was rubbing at the swelling bruise that was developing on his forehead. Was it before or after she became a pop star? Millie questioned curiously. You dated a pop star? Mox yelled out incredulously. Okay, why are you all acting like that's such a shock? Blitz asked in an annoyed tone. Hello, it's Verosika Mayday? Luna pointed out like it was the most obvious thing in the world. It's you? It's just, Moxie scratches at his head in confusion. She clearly isn't blind. Nor is she suffering some form of brain damage. Yeah. She's dating Izzy, so, Millie gestures to the green-haired male. She obviously has taste. You catch her at a low point or something? Okay, look, you are all making this into a way bigger deal than it needs to be. I don't pry into your stupid personal lives. You do that all the time, sir. Come on, you kinda do that. You spied on me and Greenie when we went out literally last week. Luna grumbled in annoyance. What's a CC with her like? Millie grins mischievously at Izuku, eyelids lowering. Millie! Moxie yells out, taken aback by his wife's boldness. What? It's a pop star. You wanted to know what a CC with Michael Crawford was like. Millie stared at him as he was about to scold her but changed his mind. Touché. His focus is on Izuku, who was simply chuckling at their antics. What I want to know is how it is that we never knew you were dating her. We've been together quite a while. Izuku smiles fondly at all the pleasant memories. I will never forget the day she told me we were gonna have a baby. 8 months and a lot of anxiety later, I was holding Tilla in my arms for the first time. Wait, she's Tilla's mother? They were shocked at this revelation. Yeah. I have pictures of us together all over our room. Izuku says before pulling out his phone and begins showing him some of their pictures. One of which was one of them on a date at a fast food joint. Had they not been told, they wouldn't have known the female was Verosika. While as a pop star, Verosika was glamorous and dressed for pure SXL appeal. The woman Izuku had taken a picture of wore an oversized t-shirt, round nerdy glasses, and had messy unkempt hair. She smiled sheepishly at the camera, looking somewhat confused as she was trying to eat a burger. Plus she's been on tour for a while, so you guys haven't really had the best chances to actually meet. He chuckled nervously, hoping her beef with Blitz doesn't affect their relationship. Though to answer your question, Mills, you wanna find out? We can set up a double date sometime. That sounds great. Right, Moxie? She excitedly hugged her husband, who nervously nodded along. Okay, look, let's just drop it. Blitz growled, wanting to change the subject. Millie, Jay, find a temporary spot for that truck. He tosses her the keys as she gleefully gets in the driver's seat. Okay, Kid, Looney, Moxie, let's go handle this SHT. This won't end well at all. Izuku shakes his head, mentally preparing himself for what's to come. A few minutes later. The scene cuts to Izuku, Luna, Moxie, and Blitzo stepping out of an elevator. Luna nervously walks around while messing with her fur. Do you think they saw me? She groaned as she tried to adjust herself. I did my makeup shitty today. Luna, calm down. Izuku pats her shoulder lovingly. You look adorable, so don't worry about impressing anyone. He kissed her cheek, getting a smile out of her. Oh, you look perfect, Looney. Like always, Blitz cuts in and smiles at her with shining eyes, causing her to narrow her eyes at him. Shut up, duh, she cuts herself off as Blitz looks at her with adoration on his face. Luna catches herself almost referring to Blitzo as Dad and shoves him aside. Ugh. Blitz. Luna checks her face in a handheld mirror, stepping over Blitzo before accidentally bumping into Vortex. She looks up at the massive hellhound in shock and embarrassment. Oof. Oh. Whoa, she sees him staring down at her blankly. Sorry, she says quietly. You're good. Happens all the time. He chuckles as the mood lightens up. Hey, X. Sup, man. He and Izuku fist bump while laughing. How things been with you and B? I hear things are getting pretty serious lately. Things have been pretty great honestly. Vortex chuckles a bit. Though she is on the wild side if you know what I mean. And I mean DMN. I am barely keeping up. Dude, come on. I don't need to be hearing that man. He playfully punches his arm, getting a laugh out of the hound. You two know each other? Luna questions the two bros. Heck, yeah. Met him way back in my days in Gluttony. Izuku gestured towards the hound. This dude saved my bacon once. Man, quit lying. We both know those sons of bees couldn't put a scratch on you. Vortex wrapped his arm around the shorter male with a smug grin. But I really owe this guy for the bodyguard job. Not to mention the occasional babysitting job whenever we needed an extra set of hands. After all, the girls absolutely adore their Uncle Fluffer. Izuku gave a teasing grin at the big boy. I happen to remember how they love using makeup to make their papa look pretty as a princess. Tex teased right back with a large smile. The two bros continued to laugh and joke as Luna simply watched them. Her face held a light blush as her tail wagged a little bit at the sight of the display. Unfortunately, the whole thing got cut short because of a certain someone being an idiot. Hi, big man. Blitz quickly cuts in between them. Where's your beach bag of an employer? Blitz, I will toss you out the window if you insult V again. Izuku glares down at the imp with annoyance. She's in her office. There wasn't room on the second floor, so they rented one here on this one. It's cheaper. Vortex motions to a nearby room with neon pink hearts over double doors. V and M are spray-painted on the door windows across from the IMP office room. Oh, come on. Sorry, man. Vortex scoffs nonchalantly as he walks away. Oh, no you don't, Beach. Blitz mutters under his breath before turning towards Izuku. Kid, get your Beach out of my building. You assume I'm gonna help you with anything after what you did to her? Izuku looks down at his boss with a chilling glare as small flames spark at the end of his eyes. Sir, how about you let me go in and try to reason with her? Moxie speaks, hoping to cut the tension. I don't really listen to what's classified as pop genre music, so her status to me is name recognition alone. Blitz tunes out Moxie's rant, opting to simply glare at the thespian imp who continues his spiel on his opinions about the pop star. Even Izuku had to admit that he could get way too into his discussions. Pot calling the kettle black much? In my opinion, her music is a bit derivative of Dash, Moxie continues before Blitz finally snaps out of it. Moxie, shut the F up. Alrighty, then. Moxie makes his way to Verosika's office. Coming with you, Mox. Don't need you getting assaulted while you're in there. Izuku follows behind him, much to Moxie's confusion. Moxie pushes open the doors and goes inside with Izuku following behind him. Once inside the office, Izuku was immediately hounded by a duo of succubi who held onto him very tightly. Hey there, Big Daddy, the succubus with blonde hair in a ponytail, dressed in overalls, cooed as she latched herself to his arm. Are you here to play with us? Asked another succubus with poofy brown hair wearing a CRP top and fishnet stockings under her peach shorts. Coco. Apple. He brought them in closer for a tight hug. How are two of the cutest succubi in all of hell doing today? We're doing great. Especially with you here now. Apple held onto his arm as she pressed her body against him. And look who he brought with him. Coco cooed as she pointed her attention to Moxie. Ah, look at the little one. He's got a whittle bow tie. Please don't condescend me, ma'am. I want a kissy, little guy? One of the incubus said, walking behind and slightly startling the little imp. A kind offer, but I'm taken. Moxie says, nervously backing away and into a tall succubus with long gray hair wearing a skirt and fishnet top with heart-shaped pasties covering her tips. Ah, but you're just so cute. Kiki moved in close, blowing softly at his neck, making him shiver. Don't be scared now, Mox, Verosika cooed, joining in on the conversation. Aizu has told us so much about you. We're just really excited to finally meet you, Bunny. Oh my. Moxie stuttered as his face grew a darker shade of red. Alright, girls. That's enough. Izuku says as he gets out of Coco and Apple's grasp, much to their disappointment. Better stop before he goes catatonic on us. He picks him up and places the imp on his shoulder. Okay, fine. We were just being friendly. Verosika pouted now that her fun was being cut short. If you guys got any more friendly, we'd end up in an org. And I know for a fact how miffed his wife would be if we started one without her. Izuku shuddered slightly with a small blush. DMN Mills is one of the kinkiest gals I have ever had the honor to lay with. Well, now you've got me all excited to meet her. Verosika chuckled mildly before her demeanor turned serious. Anyway, you guys came in to talk about the parking spot? Yeah, Blitz is gonna be a pain in the ass to deal with if we don't settle this. So I think we should just dash. Alright, see a bleep, that's IT. Blitz cut him off by kicking the doors open, getting the gang's attention. FMN. Izuku curses under his breath as he watches Blitz stomp toward Verosika. If you're gonna try a use that were moth to steal my employees, then I challenge you to AF in challenge. He growls to himself in realization. I said that twice. Is this imp boy starting a demon duel? Kiki teasingly questioned her boss with a chuckle. I think he is. Verosika laughs, leans in toward Blitzo. What's the game then, Blitzo? Every year, UST spreaders go up topside for easy pickings while spring break is a prime time for crime of all kinds. So I bet you succubies can't F as many people as we can off by the end of the day. The succubi laughed at the imp's suggestion as he glared at them in determination. They soon stop laughing as they realize that he's being serious. Smirking, Verosika leans over to the shorter man. Oh, you're serious? She leans in close to Blitzo's face, speaking in a low whisper. But I fail to see what I have to gain from this? Sure, if you win you get your parking spot, but what about us? Sure, I'd love to rub it in your face, but honestly that isn't really enticing. Oh? Is the big bad pop star afraid to lose to an itty-bitty imp in front of her SGRDDY? Blitz smirks comically, before he gets punched upside the head. Once again courtesy of Izuku. Will you stop that? No. But Verosika chimes in looking smug while holding her chin in a thinking manner. If you really wanna F up so badly, then fine. If my crew wins then Izuku here gets the next month off with pay and you and your crew will have to do whatever we say for the rest of the week. What? Oh hell the F no. I ain't letting my best employee leave for a month. Do you have any idea how much of my company needs him? Blitz yells with an anxious sweat dripping down his face. Ah, you do care. I think. Izuku coos slightly with a nervous chuckle as the succubi in the room drifted closer to him. I can just imagine all the CC things we could get Daddy to do. Apple smiled lustfully as she began rubbing herself on him. Oh, my openings are quivering in excitement. Milky licked her lips as her thickness literally jiggled with delight. Careful girls, we don't want him too hot and bothered. Yet. Kiki said calmly, but was being a hypocrite since she was grinding her peach against his groin. UFBs. Blitz was seething at this point. Those are my terms, Blitzo. Verosika dramatically flipped her hair as she latched herself to her boyfriend. Take it or leave it. Fine. Game on bees. Just don't go crying about it when I have you SLTS liking the horse SHT from my boots. He angrily shouted as he kicked the doors open. Come on Mox, we got plans to make. Mox? Mox. He turned around where expected to see his weapons specialist following behind him. Only to see the thespian blushing redder than the sands of wrath as two incubi, Ace and Josh, were playfully teasing him while he was seated in Coco's lap. God FDMN it. Later at IMP, Blitz stands in front of the whiteboard. Behind him is an easel with drawings on papers. The other IMP members sit at a table and listen to whatever BS he was spewing at this point. The exception being Izuku, who had his head down and snored softly as he was indeed taking a nap. Why? You know why. Alright, shut your asso. Here's how we're gonna do this SHT. First, we find a ton of clients. Blitz orders as he begins narrating his plan. The animated drawings on the paper show Blitz, Izuku, Luna, Millie and Moxie standing together. A bunch of imps and clients surround them with bags of money. We portal up. Blitz drawing snaps his fingers. The IMP figures fall down through said portal. The IMP drawings kill off human drawings with guns. We have our fun murder time as per usual. We pile all the bodies into a big in canoe. The human bodies are tossed into a canoe that reads, SS come gutter. Blitz drawing kicks the canoe full of bodies away from the dock. We push said canoe into some water. We light it on fire to attract the sharks and eagles, NSHT. Maybe a goose, too. F it. Animated drawings of sharks, snakes, eagles and creatures eat the bodies set on fire in the canoe. A large octopus chomps the entire ship and the animals. They come and eat the bodies, we win the bet, the IMP drawings cheer and the Luna figure wears a party hat. We rub it in that sloppy bee's drunken whereas face. The IMP members give a Verosika drawing several middle fingers. The Verosika drawing bursts into tears. The scene cuts back to the meeting. Do you have any questions? He throws his pointer stick through a window as the team looks at him indifferently. Yeah. Why was that nonsense? Moxie was the first to speak. That wasn't a question. That wasn't a plan. I'm sorry, but that was a flawless presentation of what we should do, Mox. It's not my fault you got a smooth little brain upstairs. Blitz says smugly as he puts a hand around Moxie. What now? He asks in confusion. I'm Callan, ya slow, Moxie. God, why don't you learn to take criticism, you talentless baby D-troll? Bits. Yells as he aggressively starts poking Moxie's melons. Well, why don't you take an art class? Moxie retaliates by climbing on the table in anger. Why don't you see how expensive they are? He throws Moxie back in his chair to assert his demps. Hey, is there a way I can come with you guys this time? Luna asks, getting the team's attention. I don't see why not. Izuku replies, having been woken up by the yelling. Absolutely not, I forbid it. Not gonna happen. Sorry, sweetie. Spring break is no place for young, vulnerable goth girls. You know the kind of freaks up there who drool all over you. Blitzo, Moxie, Millie, and Luna simultaneously break the fourth wall by glaring disapprovingly at the camera. Looking at all the readers, and me the author, in disappointment. I ain't apologizing. Well, I can blend in with humans easily enough. Just let me tag along. Luna explains as the three imps stare at her in confusion. Wait, say that again. Blitz says so he makes sure he heard her right. I can blend in? Luna shrugs as she inquisitively tells Blitz that she can disguise herself. Do you have a human disguise? Millie asked, slightly shocked at this information. Yeah. Don't you? The imps nervously look at each other, eyes side to side. You three have been screwing around on Earth this whole time without human disguises? Well, to be fair, most of our jobs till today were in more isolated areas, so we haven't really needed them. Izuku shrugs, getting their attention. Though nowadays most people wouldn't bat an eye seeing you all. Oh, yeah. I think you mentioned those quirks, whatever they're called. Blitz shrugs, not really caring. Besides, you look human enough anyway. Moxie states with a raised eyebrow. Why is that? I thought you're some kind of sinner demon. Magic. Izuku states plainly, but looks slightly uncomfortable on the topic. Fair enough. Moxie notices this and immediately drops the subject. Him and Millie share a look of worry before Blitz catches their attention. Okay, new plan. Blitz quickly scribbles on a piece of paper and hangs it on the easel. It shows Luna surrounded by humans with hearts around them. Looney and the kid can help lure the humans to us, and we'll take care of the rest. Okay, how about that? Flawless logic. Millie chimes in with a thumbs up in approval. Well, first off, no. Izuku joins in while staring blankly at Blitz. Don't forget that I'm technically a prize here. And I'm not gonna go against any of my partners in a dumb duel like this. Wait, what? Luna looks at him confused. Yeah, Verosika's terms to agree to this shitshow was that if they won then I'd get the next month off with pay and you guys would have to do whatever they say for the week. Izuku explains, leaving them a bit shocked. Is that why you didn't get in here for over an hour? Luna gives a slightly jealous look as he nervously chuckles. You can't spell succubus without the suck, right? He joked as she continued to stare at him. Over a parking spot? Really? Millie's looks over to their boss with a slight glare. Hey, we had it first. That DMN spot cost an arm and leg. Let's get back on topic here. Moxie sighed as he stared at his boss. I think you're missing the other biggest issue, sir. Isn't it crucial to have a client who demands enough kills to win this bet? We aren't just going to massacre. I mean, it was never specified that it had to be contracted kills, but that would just be a waste of company money. Izuku said calmly. Blitz literally bet on how many people they could F to how many you could off. Regardless, I got that covered, Mox. Blitz smirked as he left the office with the crew following behind him. Outside the building, Blitzo puts up a ratty flyer reading, Spring Break Victim, 50% off, with drawings of Blitzo, a dead victim and horses. Moxie simply deadpans at this as Izuku starts typing away at his phone for a minute. Blitz simply walks back to the crew with a smirk. Now we wait. Sir, there is no way we are going to get enough clients by the end of the day with one poorly spelled, bad grammar flyer. Moxie and Blitz look to see demons lining up and looking at the flyer. Blitz grins smugly and elbows Moxie before he strolls toward the other demons. Now, who's first? Blitz makes his way to his new customers, not noticing Izuku having a short chat on his phone. Izuku, thanks for doing this, I owe you one. Doll, yeah you do. I'll cash in that favor later. Izuku, why does that worry me? Doll, sends wink emoji along with the eggplant and peach emoji. Izuku, ... Izuku, we'll set up a date. Didn't think I'd have to cash in any of those favors but whatever. Izuku sighed to himself. V is also probably gonna get mad at me for this but I had this set up for a while anyhow. Nothing dinner, a show, and some cuddles can't fix, I guess. Kid, come on. We got work to do. Blitz yelled after him, he simply flipped him off in response. The scene cuts to a beach in the human world. People happily walk around, relax and talk. Blitzo, Moxie, Millie, Izuku and Luna hide behind coral-covered rocks under a dock. Now, remember, we can't be seen, alright? And loose shots will likely cause a panic, so Luna can help with leading targets to a better spot to off M. Blitz explained, somehow sounding smart. You got the list, Looney? Luna schemes a long list in her hands and gives it a sniff. Got it. Luna stands up and in a swirling flash of blue light, she transforms into a human version of herself. The imps stare in shock while Izuku whistles at the sight. Oh, Looney, look at you. You look downright awful. Luna glares at Blitz for his comment but softens when she sees the blush on Izuku's face. I am so proud. Now, fetch. Well, you guys have fun offing these guys. I'm gonna keep watch for whatever. Izuku stretches a bit before he starts walking off. I'll step in if anything goes wrong. Okay, sugar. Millie smiles before jumping on him for a quick hug and a kiss. Love you, sweetie. She dashes away leaving a slightly flustered Izuku behind. Yeah, love you too. He is cut off from his days when Luna grabs him by the shoulder and aggressively starts to make out with him. After a minute she separates from him with a heavy blush on her face. "For good luck," she says plainly before she rushes off. "Holy sht." Izuku whispers to himself before he quickly walks away. "I need a corn dog." Luna peers in front of her, her target humans outlined in red in her vision. Luna smirks and strolls over to a tall man wearing sunglasses. She moves a finger toward his chest and gives him a flirtatious grin. She motions behind her and to a private alleyway. Luna leads him into the alleyway and leans against the wall. The man reaches out to grab her in lust but is shot in the head by Blitz spying on the roof. He gives Luna a thumbs up. In the next shot, a blonde man runs to her in an alleyway with a hungry lustful look on his face. He is caught in a noose by Blitz. On a rooftop, a brown-haired man leans in to kiss Luna, but Millie knocks him off the roof with a kick. The man falls into a dumpster that Moxie slams shut. Luna walks with a fat man down the sidewalk and a flower pot crashes into his head. Blitz kills a woman with a knife, Millie kills a white-haired woman with a spiked baseball bat, another woman gets shot in the head. Blitz and the gang put the bodies in blood-stained dark trash bags, closing them. In the background, Millie jumps on another body. That's 22 kills in the bag. I like to see that whaley snatch orgasm that many. Blitz starts before he is interrupted by a certain someone's voice on the speakers. "Alright, spring breakers. Y'all ready to get F up and make some bad choices?" Verosika appears on stage in her human form as the audience cheers. "Verosika!" A fanboy rips his shirt that has her name written on his chest. "This is your final boarding call. All aboard." Verosika launches into song as the sign glows to life. "Fu Blitzo" appears on the screens followed by "Love You Hubby," surrounded by hearts. Blitz growls like a rabid animal, foaming at the mouth. "God damn it. That bee started her goatish mating call. Now, she's gonna win all these SEC maniacs. We gotta pick things up, guys." Blitz growls as he stands over a vomiting blonde man who is seen next to Blitzo. "He on the list, loony?" "Huh? Yeah, I think so." A distracted Luna looks at Vortex guarding the stage as Izuku walks over and starts talking with him. "Good." Blitzo takes out a red and black axe and rears it back to strike. "Oh, whoa. What are you? A leprechaun?" the high and or drunk blonde asked, completely oblivious. "Yeah, pretty cool, huh?" Blitz asked sarcastically as he brought the axe down and cleaved his head in half. "But you sure as SHT ain't gonna tell nobody?" "Alright, next one loony, come on." "Loony? Wait, where?" Blitz glances around to find Luna nowhere in sight. Her outline flashes. He panics as he starts looking around frantically. Wah, where's my baby eye?" he yelled distraught with tears building in his eyes. "Look!" Millie cries, pointing out Luna in the crowd walking over to Izuku and Vortex. Blitz notices, and his fatherly dread quickly turns to seething anger. Luna checks her makeup as two men French kissing fall to the ground at her feet, and someone off-screen throws their bikini top which lands on Luna's head. The fanboy runs toward Verosika on stage as she sings the next chorus in VERYYYY to Bone Town, but Vortex notices and punches him into the ground, head first. He drags the man away in the distance and gives Izuku a high five. Luna walks over toward Vortex, avoiding a French-kissing couple and tossing aside a BR, but is stopped by Josh, who smirks at her, eyebrows raised. Completely unaffected by his charms, she backhands him hard to send him to the ground. "Now remember, boys and girls, look all you want but you can't touch." She teases the crowd as she sends her gaze over to Izuku, sending him a wink and briefly flashing him a shot under her skirt. "DMN that woman," he mutters to himself while Vortex laughs while patting his shoulder. Not a single person on the beach noticed that deep in the waters of the salty sea a vicious presence was lurking in the deep. A glowing pair of glowing red eyes barely breaking through the surface before sinking back into the depths. Meanwhile, Luna nervously walks over to Izuku and Vortex, who were in the midst of an important topic of conversation. I'm just saying that I see nothing wrong with any of my partners pursuing others if I'm allowed to have like 20 of them. Izuku explains with a slight shrug. Don't get me wrong, I love them a lot, but I don't want to monopolize them. If they meet someone they like and they are genuinely a good person, they can date them too. You know, most people would think you're some kind of C if they heard you talking like that. Vortex comments, getting a glare from the greenette. But I know what you mean. It's kinda like me and B. She says it would be no big deal if I go with another girl, but I just haven't met anyone who doesn't want to date me to get to her. There are few things worse in life than being in a relationship but your partner does nothing but use you for their own desires. True that. The two bros share a quick fist bump before Luna has entered the chat. Hey guys. Luna nervously interjects. So how's it hanging? Hey, Luna. It's been pretty chill over here. Izuku wraps his arm around her for a quick hug. You taking a break? Or did you ditch them to come see me? Why yeah, just thought I'd check up on you since we left you hanging back there. It's fine. Gotta work after all. Besides, I've been keeping myself busy and catching up with my pal. Oh, hey. You're the hound workin' for my boss's freaky ex. The big man greeted her with a smile. Yeah. Luna chuckled nervously as she played with her hair. Sorry if that's weird. It's cool. Her beef ain't mine. I'm not paid enough to care. He brushed with an eye roll. Yeah. Yeah. I'm Luna. Okay. Noticing her nervousness, Vortex mimics her tone and smiles at her. I'm Vortex. That's hot, she blushes in a small panic as she starts fumbling her words. I mean, like, literally, 'cause vortexes, they give off heat. Probably. Right? Aw, Luna is so cute when she's flustered. Izuku mentally cooed as she watched the two interact. Good to see her trying to branch out a bit. At least Tex is a cool guy. I wonder if he's noticing this. Yeah. Chuckling at her antics, he gives her smile. I guess, but my friends call me Texas. Oh, yeah? I wish I had friends. I mean I don't have friends. She plays with her hair, trying not to keep eye contact. B. What am I, a roach? Izuku says in a faux offended tone. My super hot and adorable boyfriend who knows all the best ways to PND me. Luna giggles as she scoots closer to him, giving a kiss on the cheek as he hugs her tight. Unfortunately, this sweet moment was cut short by a little red gremlin who cut in between them. Am I interrupting something? Nah, man. Just having a conversation. Vortex tries diffusing the situation only to be met by the imp aggressively poking at his chest in a judgmental manner. Conversation leads to HPV. He glares at him while Izuku groans in annoyance. And we've lost him. Moxie sighs as he and Millie hide behind some metal barrels. It's looking like it's up to us to handle this list. Hell yeah. Team M&M, gettin' SHT done, makin' the money. Millie smiles confidently as she hugs her husband, who smiles affectionately at her. Moxie and Millie run off in the sunset and kill more people, starting with the ice cream shop before jumping over the rooftop to kill some more. Meanwhile, the rest of the group is in the middle of some drama that thankfully VERYYYY's concert was distracting the crowd from. Blitz, get the F out of here. You're gonna get us all into SHT. Luna scolds him and tries to get him to leave before he's seen. I just wanted to see what was so important that you'd be distracted from your job. Blitz nonchalantly states with no intention of backing down. What, I can't have a break? We have a parking spot on the line. A problem that would have been fixed if you were patient for like 2 minutes. Izuku lets out an exasperated sigh at his friend's antics. I'm really starting to hope VERYYYY wins this so I won't have to deal with this for a month. Hey, dude. Why don't you chill out? Vortex tries to defuse the situation but is quickly dismissed. Why don't you stay out of it? Okay, this is our business. Blitz holds up a drawing with his tail that shows a diagram of himself killing a human equaling money and earning money equaling a horse. Literally. F. Blitz. Luna groans in frustration as she fixes bangs. Why can't you stay out of my face for, like, 5 minutes? Because, I adopted you. And that should mean something. Oh. What does it matter? You're not my real dad. I was almost 18. It still counts. Well, it shouldn't. I didn't need you then, as. I don't, now. She turns her back on him, not noticing the hurt look on his face that he tries to hide. Oh, dear Lucifer. This is going to SHT. Izuku grimaces as he tries to think of something he could do. Millie and Moxie hide behind a table with steel barrels of beer. Millie loads a crossbow for Moxie to take it. He peeks over and prepares to shoot when a human man comes over and throws the beer can down. Woo! Yeah! Party! Let's do Thias! The guy named School hollers as he knocks the cans aside, sending Moxie and Millie into the air. Moxie lands in front of dozens of people. A woman points at Moxie in disgust. Egg! Oh my god, it's AF Possum! Oh, crumbs! Moxie tries to get away, but one of the partygoers catches him by the tail. I got it! School picks up Moxie and shoves him into a barrel of beer. The group cheer about Beer Possum as they take turns volleying the barrel away. Moxie, now stuck inside, begins to drink the beer inside and gets drunk. Beer Possum! Beer Possum! Get ready to get F up! Ready to get fuked! Back with the group of Blitz, Luna, Izuku, and Vortex. Blitz is visibly upset about the confrontation he had with his daughter. He goes to walk away when Luna tries to speak to him. Blitz I'm dash, Luna tries to say something to the upset Blitz, who crosses his arms. Enjoy your break, Looney. I'm gonna go kill something. He walks off in hopes to get his mind off what has just been said. Ugh, Luna, looking remorseful, watches him leave. DMN, girl. That was savage. Vortex places a comforting hand on her shoulder. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Luna lightly blushes at the gesture. He'll get over it. He always does. I'm glad you could stick up for yourself, at least. Takes guts. Vortex chuckles lightly. Thanks. Luna smiles softly but her gaze soon goes back to the direction Blitz had walked off to. Izuku continues to watch the scene before him, unsure of what to make of it. He was about to say something to Luna before something caught his attention. Something big coming out of the water sent a chill down his spine. Millie runs behind a few stacks of beer kegs toward a wobbling barrel. She opens it and the barrel tips over. Moxie burps as the beer spills out onto the ground. Moxie! She cries in shock as her inebriated husband drunkenly stares at her with a massive goofy grin. Millie! Hi! Hey! Hey, when did you get 4 heads? I wanna kiss M. He raises his hand to grab hold of her as he makes smooching noises, causing her to smile affectionately. Millie picks up the drunken Moxie and holds him tight as a monstrous beast emerges from the ocean. A titanic beast that resembles a fusion of a squid and a shark makes its way onto the shore, crushing a human that was relaxing nearby. Izuku noticed one thing about the beast that sent his mind into overdrive. The beast head had a large exposed brain that resembled the monsters he fought over 8 years ago. A Nomu? Izuku questioned in shock as the beast sent one of its massive tentacles after the bystanders. The humans scream and run away trying to get out of its path. Blitz looks in shock at the monster as he finishes choking another man. As Millie and a very drunk Moxie could only stop and stare. Oh! Fish! Moxie giggles, too drunk to notice one of the beast's tentacles grab hold of him. Wee. Before the beast could take off with him, a beach umbrella flew in suddenly, pinning the appendage to the ground, giving Millie time to slice off the tip and release Moxie. Before either one knew it, they were grabbed by Izuku and thrown away, being quickly caught by Blitz, who was choking out a target. Izuku had a blank expression as more tentacles reached for him, weaving his way through them and slicing them with a set of knives. The soles of his feet set ablaze a second later as he crouched down to the ground, like a predator ready to pounce. He launched himself at the monster and latched himself at its throat. "I love that man," Moxie comments as his tail makes a heart shape. "Oh, he totally pegs you, doesn't he?" Bit stares blankly at his inebriated employee. "He does so much more than that," Millie smiles as she adorns a heavy blush at seeing her emerald-haired lover rip and tear at the monster. Not too far away, Verosika and her crew watch on in worry. Her gaze drifted back and forth between Izuku and the monstrous Nomu, clutching at her heart as she sees the vicious and wrathful look on his face. The monster letting out one last strangled roar, its through is torn to pieces. Its BLD shoots everywhere, narrowly missing the groups as it stains the beach. "Oh, yeah, way to show off, kid." Blitz congratulated him as Izuku made his way back to the shore. Izuku gave no response, his expression blank as he looked down at his BLD-covered hands, a burning sensation filling his system as he grit his teeth angrily, visibly shaking as he clutched his head in pain as the group made their way to him. "Izzy?" Millie gently stepped near him in worry. "Babe? Please talk to us, sweetie." Verosika voice out, briefly flinching as she saw his eyes had pitch black. "F." He suddenly yelled with his horns and flames flashing for only a moment, making everyone jump back in shock. "F. F. F. F." He continued to yell as he clawed at his skin, as if it was keeping him caged. "After all these years. Izuku." Verosika quickly dashed over to him and wrapped him in a hug. He flinched at the sudden embrace before he held her close. "It's okay. It's going to be okay," she whispered to him soothingly. Not long after, the two fell to their knees on the ground. His breathing calmed as he laid his head into her melons, softly crying and muttering to himself. His eyes closed as he soon lost consciousness in her arms. She placed a kiss on his forehead before turning her attention to everyone else. "Okay, pack up everyone. We're heading home. Deal's off," Verosika said sternly as Tex came over and put Izuku on his shoulders. Verosika and her posse were set to leave with IMP staring at them visibly concerned. T% he outburst had even sobered Moxie up enough for him to stare at the unconscious Izuku for a few moments. None of them knew what had happened nor an inkling of what to do. Luna stepped forward to break the silence. "Is Izuku gonna be okay?" she asked, getting an unsure expression from Verosika. "He'll be fine eventually," Verosika said as a portal had opened up for them. "He's gonna need to stay home for a bit. Feel free to visit though, he'd really love that." She smiled softly at them in a reassuring manner. "Yeah. We'll do that." Millie picked up her husband and began following behind them. "Call us if something happens. We'll be there faster than a streaker running across a baseball field." She let out a nervous chuckle. Blitz could only stare at them silently, not moving an inch from where he was standing. The look that he had in his eyes was something he recognized, one that he feared. He didn't have time to process it before Luna came over to get his attention. "Blitz," she spoke, getting him out of his thoughts. "You gonna be okay?" "Yeah. Peachy," he said blankly as he rejoined the group. "Verosika, when the kid wakes up, tell him he has the month off or some SHT," he said, not even looking at them as he blitzed past them. "And make sure he's safe." "Yeah, sure, prick," she spoke as everyone entered the portal to hell. Slightly surprised at the imp's seemingly worried tone, but she brushed it off. None of them the wiser to a small drone flying across the sky, scanning the scene below as officers had arrived and focused on the giant corpse that was left to rot on the shore, the camera zooming in on the spot that there once was before flying off. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for more crossovers. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author DiabloDrago on Wattpad. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.